Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. Now, today I'm going to be speaking to the cat who's got the cream, or maybe, I don't know, it could be that they're dairy free. I don't know. We'll find out what cat's preference is in terms of, milk intake, but also in terms of music shortly after this.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Hello, cat. I promised you. See,
Hello.
I told you there was a cat in there, and
There was a cat in there.
dancing away like that. Do you have cats yourself?
Do you know the hilarious thing is that I don't have cats, and my name is Cat, C-A-T, and everyone sends me cat cards, but I don't have cats.
Don't have cats. Are you a dog person instead?
I'm not. I've got 2 teenage boys,
Right.
and that is enough for me.
Right. That's enough animals in the house.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a funny thing about cats is that I mentioned like the cat's got the cream. Whatever. Cats don't actually like milk.
Don't
Um,
they?
No, not really. They drink water like
Oh,
like dogs do.
yeah.
They prefer water, quite often dirty water as well, which is quite disgusting.
I
but,
literally have no knowledge of cats or dogs. I'm so sorry.
yeah. Now, looking at your website and the other stuff that I've found about you, the sort of mum element of your life, looking after the teenage boys, has played quite a relevant part in all of this as well, hasn't it? I mean, you talk about this sort of stuff on your
Yeah.
website, whatever. So yeah, tell us a little bit about why you're making music now, and how does that fit in with family life?
Well, first of all, Graham, thank you for having me. It's
That's a
really
pleasure.
nice to be here. This is the first time that I've really been asked about my music, so you're finally sort of giving me some validation. So basically, long story short, I have done music all my life. I've always written songs. It's that sort of thing where you can't not do it. Like I've just always done it since I was about, I don't know, 12 or 13 or something. So I've always absolutely loved music. Like it's been right inside my core. And it's just like, then people get music because you just go, oh yeah, music. It's just like, it's everything. It's literally everything. And it's been like that my whole life. I used to watch my dad play guitar on stage when I was a kid. And I think I don't know whether that was part of it, but it just felt so special. And it always was my like safe little place. And I was in like crap band when I was younger and stuff like that. And then
Oh, come on. What was the name?
it's so bad. Talisman.
Talisman. Was that a rock band by any means, or was it folk, or was it folky?
No, it definitely wasn't folk. It was kind of, I suppose it was a bit rocky. It was a bit like indie, I suppose.
Right.
And the blokes were really lovely. And I learned how to kind of sing in front of people and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
our songs weren't very good.
No.
But we had a laugh doing it. And it just kind of made me brave. And, just showing how to share music was a really fun thing. But anyway, so I sort of carried on. But I think, and I don't, I hate it when people are too self-deprecating and stuff and when they're really good. But I just think, I never quite knew what my level was. I never quite knew if I felt brave enough to share stuff. So I just kind of carried on at home and work. And like for years, I worked in music television. So music was always my thing. And so for 10 years, I don't know if you know, but there was an amazing series called Classic Albums. And it kind of like took the albums and used the solo button to see, and like, had amazing artists like Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Wonder. It was amazing. So I worked on that for like 10 years. And then I always felt like I didn't have enough time to do my music kind of thing. So then I got children and then there was absolutely no time to do it. And that's when the fire really started to come out again, because I just thought, well, hang on a minute, I have to do my music because that is me. And with no time to do it, it kind of made me more hungry to do it in a weird way. I don't really understand that. So when my second kid, and by the way, I talk really fast. Sorry, I'm trying to slow down.
That's all right.
When, when I had my second little boy, when he was about 4 months old, I just was going a bit mad, and I literally was like, right. And I went and found like an open mic right in North London where I didn't know anybody, and I just literally was like, right, I'm just going to go and do an acoustic just so I feel like I still can do it.
Yeah.
And that kind of really reminded me how much I loved it. And so from then on, I did kind of write quite regularly. And my day job is like singing to kids. So when I'm warming up, I'm always working on something. So it might only be like 10 minutes a day, but I try and flex that songwriting muscle 10 minutes a day because it's better than no minutes. And then all of a sudden I had like, I mean, I've got so many songs, it's ridiculous, but the ones that I felt were good enough to maybe go on an album, that's when I started really focusing on that.
And I'm going to have to say, Cat, they're brilliant.
Oh my God.
Your songs are really great.
You like them?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I bump into people every day that have had like a, you know, a sudden epiphany that they, or, you know, second wind of, oh yeah, I need to get creative. I need to make music and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put anybody down in terms of any creativity, because I think, like, you know, if you need to do it and you want to do it, that's brilliant. And if it brings you joy and peace and whatever else, you know, satisfaction, then that's great. But some people that are you know, producing music, maybe in this, especially some people in their second wind, it's, I mean, it's not very listenable, but it's great.
Yeah,
that they're
it's
doing
great
it.
that they're doing it. Well,
I you know, I happened upon you and I listened to your music and I thought, wow, I mean, you could be a Lisa Loeb, you could be, you know, you absolutely have got that kind of great, you're writing great songs and you're
Graham,
producing them really well. So, you know.
Well, the producing is basically, I was so lucked out. So basically, I can't believe you're saying that. I'm so grateful because it's really hard when you don't know what your sound is like or what your level is to like actually put stuff out. And you know, I'm so long in the tooth now. It's not like I'm going, oh, I really want everyone to like me or love it or anything. It's just when you don't really know what your level is, it's a bit scary putting stuff out. But I've always had this weird dream that I wanted to finish an album and do it because I've been so inspired by other female musicians. And I just think it's really amazing when you've got a body of work and like it's on an album. I think I've just got that real love of albums, you know. Yeah. And so I'm very old school, but so I'm so chuffed to pieces that you've said all that. But I really like writing songs. I've always done it since I was a kid, like I said, and they just come out. I mean, it's like you can't stop them really. Like, and I don't know, like everyone goes, where do they come from? Like literally, where do they come from? But they come so quite well formed sometimes, like, you know, and I just love the magic of that process. It's like my favorite bit alongside going into a studio, like having not been in one since I was about 18. Going back to the studio was absolutely the most exciting thing I've done for years. And I just feel so happy in a studio. Yeah. Like it's just like such a joyful experience. And actually out of all of the writing, recording, releasing, performing, the recording is my absolutely favorite bit. And the other bit, the sort of the actual performing them, I find quite scary. But so anyway, to cut a very, very long story short, because I am 55, I could talk all day. I got in touch with a lovely man called Tim Wills, who was in that crap band I was in. So 24 years later, I sort of tracked him down. I knew vaguely what he'd been doing. And I tracked him down, and he's worked with amazing people. And I'd seen him on Jules Holland playing with Ian Brown and stuff like that. So I never dreamt that he would do it, but I thought he might know of someone that I could get to produce it, basically. And then I went and met him and I played him some songs. And, you know, he was quite disparaging about my guitar skills and my keyboard skills. Fair enough. But he did seem to like some of the songs, and he said, yeah, let's do it. So I was so thrilled that he said he would do it, because I knew I was in a safe pair of hands. And also we knew each other, we hadn't seen each other for 24 years, but at the time we'd been sort of good mates and had a laugh and stuff. So, you know, yeah, I was so lucky, and he just really got what I wanted. I mean, I'm not going to say I totally love all the tracks still, because I was learning as I went, and there are a couple on there that I have gone off a bit because I didn't quite get the sound I wanted, because I didn't really know exactly what I wanted, to be honest. But now I've done one album, I've really learned from it, and I'm hoping that albums can be like a snapshot in the time that you're doing them, and that I can keep learning and getting better.
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, every artist should think that the next body of work that they produce is the better body of work than the previous.
Yeah. So, I mean, but he is an amazing producer, an amazing musician. And I was so lucky he called in really amazing musicians as well, like another guitarist and a drummer. And so, yeah, I was just thrilled with how in the end it came out. But he's the most patient man, because it took over 10 years. Can you believe it? A mum from Sydenham, it took over 10 years, because that was one of your first questions, is how did I manage to fit it in? And I really didn't manage to fit it in. It was very like, I'd get one day in a studio, and then I literally, because of family commitments and stuff and money, I couldn't get there for another 2 months. So it was so stop and start, which is the worst way to do it. So it's a massive feat that it did actually get finished.
I know, but it's so satisfying when you do it, right?
Oh yeah,
it's so satisfying when you do it. Sometimes you just do have to do stuff, you know.
Yeah,
and
you just have to inch it forward. Like it was so it was beyond frustrating, but I kept just having to go, I am so lucky that I get any time to do this. And so when I first started it, I think my kids were like 5 and 7 or something, and now they're like 18 and nearly 16. But what I loved, Graham, was the sort of synergy of it just fell right in that I'd got everything finished and ready to release on my son's 18th birthday. So it felt like, you're 18, you can go now, I've done my job, here's my music.
What do your kids think of it?
Oh, well, do you know, it's quite funny, because teenagers think their parents are the uncoolest, most annoying people in the whole world.
They really
which
do,
is absolutely as it should be.
It is.
But every now and then I catch them singing some of my songs, and they kind of do it in front of me, and I think it's their way of kind of going, oh yeah, well done, Mum. They would never say well done or anything, but I think they kind of are proud of me, but in a sort of a teenage way.
Yeah. Which is very grunty these days.
Yeah,
especially with boys.
grunty.
It's like, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
What do you want for tea?
Yeah, but what I am pleased about is that I wanted to show that, as well as it being totally, you know, scratching my itch of wanting to do it, I kind of wanted to show both of them that even if something isn't for money or anything like that, if you've got something that you want to create and it's really difficult, to show them that you can finish it, and that's a really amazing, worthwhile pursuit. And so I was really hoping not to never finish it and be one of those, oh, I never got round to it. I just wanted to show them, like, you really should prioritize some things.
Oh, you've taught them a massive lesson in terms of resilience as well.
I hope so.
Yeah, and that's really important in today's world, because
yeah,
there's just so many things that will get in the way, and there's so many uphill struggles that you need to kind of fight against.
And the worst one, Graham, the worst one, which is so frustrating, is like imposter syndrome, if anyone believes in that, or just getting out of your own way. I mean, if I had been more confident in myself, I definitely would have finished this years ago. But unfortunately, I had a voice going, oh, I don't think that's very good. Like the whole time it was like, oh yeah, why are you doing this? What do you think you're doing? You know, and so if I was giving advice to anybody about it, particularly, obviously I can only really talk about being like a woman of a certain age and stuff like that, but it's like we've got to believe in ourselves, because if we don't, we'll never do anything. And so I've really sort of given myself a real talking to over this process as well, because it's like it doesn't really matter if not everybody likes it. It's just, if you have this thing, an urge to do it, which I can't tell you where it comes from, but I've always had it, then that's okay to do that. You stop questioning yourself all the time. So I am
Totally.
quite annoyed with myself.
I really struggle with the concept of imposter syndrome, because I don't actually feel it exists. I feel like it either people haven't been given the opportunity, or they haven't been given the training, or they just haven't been given the space, or or they just need to build that resilience. And I think once you do, you're there. And ultimately it is just about stepping off and putting your foot
totally.
outside Apollo 11,
And the one thing I've learned as well is that I got to the stage, and maybe it's because of my my advanced years, but I got to the stage where I was like, oh my God, now the fear of not doing it was greater than the fear of doing it.
Exactly. We only live once.
Exactly that,
Graham. You've just got to, get to the end.
Yeah.
There's a kazoo moment right there. Talking
How
about
wonderful.
that, do you have kazoos with what you do with the young kids? Do you ever use a kazoo, or do you?
I don't. I literally, it's very simple and pared down, because the noise on the children's entertainment circuit is so massive. There are so many people doing so many things,
Right.
and so what I did was I found my own little furrow, because there weren't so many people just doing the little, like sort of the old traditional nursery rhymes with a live instrument. I don't judge what anyone does. Like, if you want to have massive backing tracks, that's fine. Anything that's giving music to kids, I think, is wonderful. But I found my own little way of doing it, because it just sat naturally with me to play guitar. And yeah, I really am passionate about keeping the traditional songs alive, because otherwise they'll just disappear. And they're so amazing educationally. Like, the kids are learning without even knowing it. So yeah, it was just like how I sort of try and earn a bit of bread and butter, to keep things going.
I love that. So is London still burning?
London is still burning.
London is still burning.
I tend to stay away from the really dark, macabre ones, though, and that is one of them.
There's quite a few of those, aren't there?
Yeah, there's some really weird ones, and so I tend to do the sort of the joyful ones, like 5 little ducks went swimming one day, all that sort of stuff, and just things that
Although that used to freak me out as a child. I wondered where the ducks had got to, and
I'm really quick with them coming back.
Yeah.
So that they don't get too traumatized.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with these things.
Do
you get the kids stop you midway through and go, "What's happened to the ducks?" I mean, it could.
No,
it could
actually, it's quite often the mums who are all quite emotional because they're new mums, and they're like, "Where's the baby ducks gone?"
Really?
So I have to reassure them very quickly.
Do you get the mums joining in? That's the important thing.
Yeah, do you know what? It's that's the joy of it. And when I started it, so I've been doing that for nearly 14 years. When I first started it, I literally thought it was just for the children, really. It was like, oh, kids bring them, the mums bring them along, that's it. But the longer it's gone on, and the amount of messages I've had from women who maybe are struggling at the time, they kind of become like little communities, and it's just really wonderful. And so the mums get as much from it as the little ones, actually. And we get some dads as well. Hooray for the dads. We get a few dads. But yeah, so it's as equally important.
I love that. So you got it all going on, and suddenly you get some nice bass and baritones in there.
Bit of bass. But what's been great as well is that, because I was so nervous about singing in front of people, having done this for 14 years, where I sing in front of people absolutely every day, it might not be my songs, but it has given me a much calmer way of being in front of people. I'm quite used to talking to big crowds now and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying I get big crowds with my stuff, but you know, I've definitely got an ability now to sort of chat away to an audience. Like I don't mind that so much now. And I actually had this weird thing, Graham, where I did like an album pre-launch, because this thing fell into my lap that was just too good to ignore, because I wasn't really sure if I was going to do a launch party or anything like that, because I just thought, oh, I don't know, I think I should just get it out there. I'm not that fussed about doing something like that. I'm so annoyed with myself that I haven't done it sooner, so let's just get it out. But then through my work, I got asked to do some gigs at, do you know of the Crystal Palace Bowl? So it's like an amazing music venue that's been going for years. Like Bob Marley played there, I think Pink Floyd played there, maybe Bowie played there. And it's this crazy, in the sort of north side of Crystal Palace Park. It's like a stage on a little bit of water with like a roof that goes like that. So it's like a rusty laptop, they call it. Anyway, I've done some kids Christmas gigs there because they've revamped it all. And then this lovely lass asked me to play again. And I said, oh, you know, so same as before. She went, no, this is your music. You said you do your own music. We're going to do some acoustic sessions. And then it all just fitted in. It was like, well, it kind of worked. The album was ready and pressed. And so I thought, well, this seems too good to be true. So I actually did a pre-launch gig on the rusty laptop, and it was so fun, and like it was quite busy, like because all my old friends came out of the woodwork, because they've been asking me for years, like, when are you going to get your music out, when you get music? So I finally could tell them. And then there were lots of just like people that were just, you know, randomly in Crystal Palace Park as well. So it was quite nerve-wracking because it was quite busy, but yeah, it went well, and I really loved it, and I actually sold some CDs.
Well, hopefully we might up the ante on that with this.
I mean, wow,
one of the platforms this will go out on is LinkedIn, which a lot of PR people poo-pooed me about when I first started doing it, because they went, oh, that's not a channel that we talk about music on. I go, well, exactly, you should be talking about music on it, because
we're talking about it on everything. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's lots of people my age who actually have got money to buy stuff. So you know,
how did you set this up, Graham?
How did that? You can read all about it at mymusicpodcast.com, and there's even a very old photo of me on there. But yeah, I set this up after COVID, when I was setting other things up. And as I say, the whole story is there. We won't bore everybody with it now. And some people
I'll go and have a look.
Some people may have already read it. But if you haven't, though, go and check it out at mymusicpodcast.com. And become a supporter at the same time, because that's really, really helpful. I'm glad I caught up with you today, Cat. It's been wonderful talking to you. I've just got one last question for you. So what's next for Cat Lawless?
Well, now that I have got that massive block out of the way of the first album, I've got loads of songs that I'm working on, and I'm just so excited to be a person finally that writes, records, releases. Like, I just want to do that for the rest of my life.
Don't leave it 10 years before the next one.
No.
don't leave it 10 years. But it's hard. It's hard. And you know what? I'm so glad you're talking about this, because, you know, it's when you're young and you haven't got any other commitments and whatever else, or if that's the lifestyle that you've chosen, you haven't got dependents upon you or whatever, and work commitments and what, it is easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is easier to find that time, because you can be a little bit more selfish about it. But as soon as you have other people depending upon you, your time isn't just your own. And I know a lot of people that are out there listening to this will understand and know that. It's just taken me months and months and months to put a course up, which I've been writing, you know, to do with LinkedIn. And you know, had I been like on my own, I would have done that in probably 2 nights. but it
Exactly.
took me
Exactly.
months to do.
But you know what I've learned now is that it mustn't stop you. And to be honest, I can't really, you know, hand on heart, I can't blame really being a mum, being a wife, sorting business out and stuff like that, because there is always time. Like, I did find the time in the end, and I think I have to blame at least 50% on the fact that I wasn't quite ready. I
Right.
didn't really know what I was doing, and I had massive fear. So I had to
Yeah.
climb above all that every time. So I think, you know, we can get things done when we really, really want to.
Yeah.
And this was
Just
a
do 10
burning
minutes
thing
less
inside
TV
me.
or something each night. Yeah. Something like
Yeah,
that.
you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it is difficult. I'm not saying, I'm not undermining all the time I have to spend doing everything with the kids and stuff like that. But now they're getting older. I've got an adult now, 18-year-old. There will be more time now, and I've definitely shut that voice up a little bit, saying you're not good enough.
I like that. I know that's a great place, and that's where we're going to leave it today, because you know that's a very strong message to people out there. Don't let that voice in your head
Yeah,
drown out your ambition to
yeah,
do what you need to do.
yeah.
Watch
Graham,
out.
thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming in, Kat. Thanks for talking to us about your music. And that's why this is called My Music. It's not my music, it's your music. It's your music. It's everybody's music. And that's what it's
Yeah.
all about.
Well, thank you so much.
Folks, go and check out Cat Lawless. She's got her own website under the same name. And you've got links on there as well to go to Bandcamp, where you can go and support her. You could just listen to the music if you want to, but if you really like it, then just stop and buy something as well. That would be brilliant. And as Kat continues, and if you see her doing a show somewhere from time to time, go and see it. Go and say hi. Stop on Instagram or whatever and say hi as well. That would be beautiful.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
We will be back soon with more of the same of this. We're nearly at episode 500. 500. Can't wait to get there. It's almost going to feel like I ought to be seeing the king for you know for something. You know, people go to see the king for less. I feel the amount of work that's gone into this. But we will be back soon with more of these. And thank you so much for Kat, and to all of you for keep supporting this as well. If you enjoy music, tell us about it. Bye for now.